Have you ever wondered why certain situations suddenly trigger a wave of anxiety, even when everything seems fine? Why, despite your best efforts to stay in control, there's an invisible fear holding you back. In this video, we're diving deep into the human psyche using the groundbreaking insights of Carl Jung, one of the most influential minds in modern psychology. You'll discover that your anxiety triggers are not random. They're hidden messages from your unconscious mind, trying to reveal something vital about who you are and what you need to face. Now, get ready. Our journey into the hidden layers of the mind begins now, where true transformation starts in the shadows. There is far more within us than meets the conscious eye. Every thought, every emotion, every automatic reaction stems from deeper layers of our psyche, often overlooked, but never inactive. Carl Jung called this the collective unconscious, a vast reservoir of inherited memories, symbols, and behavioral patterns shared across humanity. Within it lie the archetypes, universal forms of experience that silently shape our lives. And among them dwells the shadow, the part of ourselves we deny, suppress, yet continues to operate behind the scenes. When anxiety arises in response to certain situations, it may be the voice of your shadow speaking. It doesn't communicate in clear words, but through symptoms: restlessness, unexplained fear, panic attacks. These signals aren't flaws. They are urgent invitations to look inward. Jung believed anxiety surfaces when we're avoiding something essential that our unconscious demands we confront. It could be a painful memory, a postponed decision, or a buried desire. The conscious mind tries to escape, but the unconscious insists, we need to talk. Think of each anxious episode as a warning light on your car's dashboard. If ignored, it doesn't disappear. It grows stronger until you finally stop and pay attention. That's exactly how the unconscious operates. It doesn't aim to harm you. It seeks to protect you from living disconnected from your inner truth. But why does it hurt so much? Why do we often feel trapped in this cycle? Because facing the shadow takes courage. It requires looking at parts of yourself you'd rather forget. Yet Jung insisted, only by integrating what we deny can we achieve wholeness, what he called individuation. This is the path to deep healing. And here's the most powerful insight. You don't need to fear your anxiety. It can become your greatest ally if you learn to interpret the language of your unconscious. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to recognize the repetitive patterns in your life and uncover how they serve as clues from your unconscious, guiding you toward a deeper understanding of your true self. You've already begun to see that anxiety is not the enemy. It's a messenger. But how do you begin decoding its signals? How do you start listening to what your unconscious is trying so hard to tell you? The answer lies in recognizing patterns, those repeating situations, relationships, and emotional reactions that keep showing up in your life like an echo from deep within. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." These words are more than philosophical. They're a roadmap. The unconscious doesn't speak through logic. It speaks through symbols, emotions, dreams, and yes, anxiety. Let me give you a powerful example. Imagine someone who constantly feels anxious around authority figures. Every time they interact with a boss, a teacher, or even a strict neighbor, their heart races, their thoughts cloud, and they feel powerless. On the surface, this might look like simple social anxiety, but through Jung's lens, it's something deeper. This person may be projecting onto others an internal archetype, perhaps the father or the authority figure, rooted in childhood experiences. Their unconscious isn't reacting to the present situation, but to a buried emotional wound tied to power, control, or abandonment. Their anxiety is a signal that there's unfinished business within, not outside. And this is where most people get stuck. They try to fix the symptoms, take a pill, avoid stressful situations, distract themselves with work or entertainment, without ever asking, what is my anxiety really trying to show me? Jung taught that our inner world is full of hidden figures, parts of ourselves we've rejected, ignored, or never fully developed. These figures live in the shadows of the psyche, and when left unexplored, they express themselves through emotional distress, compulsive behaviors, and, yes, chronic anxiety. So how do you uncover these hidden forces? By paying attention to repetition. Ask yourself, are there certain types of people who always trigger your anxiety? Are there specific situations that bring back the same fear again and again? Do you notice recurring dreams, nightmares, or intrusive thoughts? These are not random occurrences, they are clues. Your unconscious is trying to show you something it believes is too important to remain hidden. Now, let's go one step further. Jung also believed that anxiety often appears at pivotal moments, times of transition, growth, or transformation. It's not always a sign that something is wrong. Sometimes, it's a sign that something is about to change. When you stand on the edge of becoming more than who you were, your unconscious stirs. Old defenses weaken. New possibilities emerge. And with them comes discomfort. Because growth is rarely comfortable. Think of it as labor pains for the soul. That moment before a major insight, a breakthrough, or a shift in identity. That's when anxiety tends to rise. It's not trying to stop you. It's trying to prepare you. But how do you move forward when fear feels overwhelming? By learning to dialogue with your inner world. Not fight it. Listen to it. In the next part, we'll explore practical ways to start this conversation. You'll learn how to identify your personal archetypes, understand the symbolic language of your unconscious, and begin transforming anxiety into awareness. Because the truth is, your anxiety isn't holding you back. It's calling you forward. Stay with me. The journey is just getting deeper. You've already taken the first steps, recognizing that anxiety is not your enemy, but a messenger from the unconscious. You've begun to see how patterns repeat in your life, revealing hidden wounds and unresolved conflicts. Now, it's time to take this inner journey even further. Because once you understand that your anxiety is trying to speak to you, the next question becomes, how do you listen? Carl Jung didn't just diagnose the human psyche, he gave us tools to heal it. One of his most powerful insights was the idea of active imagination, a practice where you engage directly with the figures of your unconscious, whether they appear as dreams, emotions, or recurring thoughts. Imagine sitting down with your anxiety, not as an opponent, but as a guide. Imagine asking it, what are you trying to show me? And truly listening for the answer. This might sound strange at first. After all, we're taught to suppress uncomfortable emotions, to medicate what disturbs us, to push through pain without pausing to understand it. But Jung knew something most of us forget. Healing doesn't come from ignoring our inner world. It comes from facing it. So let's begin that process now. Start by identifying your core anxieties. Not just surface fears, like being late, missing a deadline, or public speaking, but the deeper ones. The kind that seem to run through every chapter of your life. Are you afraid of abandonment? Of failure? Of being truly seen? These are not random worries. They are the fingerprints of your unconscious, clues pointing to the core wound, the unresolved trauma, the part of yourself that never got the chance to be heard. Let's take one of these fears and explore it together. For example, if you fear abandonment, ask yourself, when did this fear first appear? Was there a moment when someone important left you, physically or emotionally? Does this fear show up in certain relationships over and over again? Now, don't rush to fix it. Don't try to talk yourself out of it. Just sit with it. Let the memory rise. Let the emotion surface. Jung called this amplification, allowing the symbol or emotion to expand until its meaning becomes clear. This is how you start decoding the language of your unconscious. Another powerful tool is dream work. Dreams are the purest expression of the unconscious mind. While modern psychology often dismisses them as random electrical impulses, Jung saw them as messages written in symbolic language, invitations to deeper understanding. If you suffer from recurring nightmares or vivid dreams filled with unsettling imagery, don't ignore them. These are not meaningless. They are signposts pointing toward inner conflict. Next time you wake up from such a dream, write it down. Ask yourself, what emotions stayed with me after waking? Who appeared in the dream? And what do they represent? In my waking life, is there a pattern in the symbols I keep seeing? By reflecting deeply on these questions, you begin to open a channel of communication with your unconscious, a dialogue that can lead to profound transformation. But perhaps the most revolutionary concept Jung introduced was the idea that what we resist persists. That means the parts of ourselves we try to deny, the so-called negative traits, often hold the key to our deepest growth. Think about it. Are you afraid of being too emotional because you were told emotions were weaknesses? Do you avoid confrontation even when it costs you peace? Have you repressed anger for so long that it now manifests as chronic anxiety? These are not flaws. They are fragments of your soul that have been silenced, and now seek recognition. The path forward is not to eliminate anxiety, but to embody it, to allow it space to speak, to feel its message, and to integrate what has been ignored. In the final chapter, I'll show you how to take everything you've uncovered and turn it into real change. We'll explore how to bring your unconscious into conscious awareness, step by step, moment by moment. Because this is the heart of individuation, the journey Carl Jung believed every human being must take to become whole. You've come a long way. You've learned to see anxiety not as an enemy, but as a messenger from your unconscious. You've explored the patterns that repeat in your life, uncovered the hidden figures of your psyche, and begun to listen to the symbolic language of your inner world. Now it's time for the final and most transformative step: integration. Because understanding your anxiety is just the beginning. True healing happens when you take what you've discovered and bring it into your daily life. When you stop resisting the messages of your unconscious and start embodying them consciously. Carl Jung called this process individuation, the journey toward wholeness. It's not about becoming perfect. It's about becoming whole, accepting every part of yourself, even the ones you've feared or denied. Because only when we embrace both light and shadow can we truly evolve. So how do you begin this integration? Let's break it down into practical steps. First, create a dialogue with your anxiety. Every time it arises, instead of pushing it away, ask yourself, what is this trying to show me? Is there something I'm avoiding? What part of myself needs to be heard right now? This simple shift in perspective changes everything. Instead of being at war with your emotions, you become their student. And in doing so, you reclaim your power. Second, write it out. Journaling is one of the most powerful tools Jung recommended. When you write down your thoughts, dreams, and emotional reactions, you begin to see patterns more clearly. Over time, what once felt chaotic becomes organized. What was once buried begins to surface. Third, embody the message. Anxiety isn't just mental, it's physical. It lives in your body. So don't just think about what you've learned. Feel it. Let the emotions rise without judgment. Cry if you need to. Breathe through the discomfort. Movement, dance, art. These are all ways to express what words cannot. Use them. Fourth, face your shadow directly. This is where real transformation happens. The parts of yourself you've rejected, whether anger, fear, shame, or vulnerability, are not enemies. They're fragments of your soul asking for recognition. Give them space, listen to them, learn from them, and finally, live with awareness. Becoming conscious of your unconscious is not a one-time event. It's a lifelong practice. Every moment of self-awareness is a step forward. Every time you pause instead of reacting, every time you choose reflection over impulse, you reinforce your growth. Jung once said, "I would rather be whole than good." That's the heart of individuation. It's not about being flawless. It's about being complete. It's about embracing every part of who you are, even the parts that scare you. And here's the truth. Your anxiety has never been trying to destroy you. It has always been trying to wake you up. It's been calling you to grow, to evolve, to heal. So the next time you feel that familiar wave of unease rising inside you, don't run. Don't fight. Don't distract yourself. Pause. Breathe. Ask, what is this trying to show me now? And then listen. Because within that moment lies the key to your deepest transformation. If this video has touched something within you, if it's helped you understand yourself in a new way, please take a moment to like, comment, and share it with someone who might need to hear this today. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Inner Mirror. This is just the beginning. There's so much more to explore. Together. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And thank you for showing up for yourself. The journey doesn't end here. It continues within you.